What happens when country music royalty collides with daytime TV drama? Buckle up because this story will leave you speechless. Before we dive in, don't forget to hit subscribe and share your thoughts in the comments, because you're going to want to discuss this one. The morning started like any other at the Today with Jenna and Friends studio. Bright lights, rolling cameras, and an excited live audience. The guest of honor, Reba McEntire, the queen of country music herself, there to promote her latest album and upcoming tour. As she walked onto the set in a burgundy blazer, her signature red hair glowing under the lights, the crowd erupted in applause. Jenna, the show's energetic host, introduced her warmly. The two exchanged a quick hug, and everything seemed perfectly routine. At first it was. They chatted about Reba's career, her new songs, her perspective on how country music had evolved. The audience laughed at her stories and leaned in on every word. It was exactly what you'd expect from a feel-good morning segment, until Jenna decided to stir the pot. "You've been in this business for over 40 years, she began. "You must have seen incredible changes, especially for women. But recently there's been talk about older artists, particularly women, and whether they should step aside for younger talent. What are your thoughts on that?" The room seemed to tighten. Reba's smile grew thinner. "Are you asking me if I should retire?" she said, her voice still sweet but edged with steel. Jenna tried to soften it but instead pressed further. "Don't you think there's something to be said for knowing when your time has passed? You're 68 years old. At what point does holding on become more about ego than artistry?" The air froze. Reba straightened, her warmth fading into something far sharper. "Did you just suggest that my career is about ego? That's not only insulting, it's completely off base." But Jenna didn't stop. She spoke about making space for new artists, implying Reba was selfish for continuing to dominate. That was when the queen of country music decided enough was enough. "Selfish?" Reba repeated, leaning forward. "Did you just call me selfish for doing the job I love? For giving fans the music they want to hear?" Jenna tried to hold her ground, even pointing out that Reba's latest album didn't light up the charts. That was the breaking point. Reba's voice cut through like a blade. "My last album debuted at number 4 on the country charts and number 13 on the Billboard 200. It went gold in 6 months. Maybe you should have done your research before trying to ambush me." The audience murmured, shifting uncomfortably until the tension cracked. Reba kept going. She called out the ageism and sexism embedded in the question. You'd never ask a man if it was time to step aside. You wouldn't accuse him of being selfish for succeeding. But because I'm a woman in my 60s, suddenly my career is ego-driven? The audience started clapping, siding with Reba. But Jenna pressed, again about fresh energy and younger voices. Reba's southern drawl thickened, her tone sharp as lightning. "Fresh energy? Honey, I was innovating when these so-called fresh artists were in diapers. I broke barriers. I fought for women's voices in country music. I built something that lasts." By now the producers were panicking, signaling to cut to commercial, but it was too late. Reba wasn't backing down. "My fans span generations. Teenagers, parents, grandparents, they all show up. My tour next year is already sold out. Streaming numbers keep rising. Out of touch? Hardly." The audience applauded loudly, cheering her on. Jenna's co-host Marcus tried to change the subject, but Reba stopped him. "No, Marcus. Some things once said can't be unsaid." She turned back to Jenna. "You invited me here under the pretense of promoting my work, and instead you've spent the entire time suggesting I'm too old, too selfish, and too irrelevant. Well, here's the truth. You didn't prepare for this interview. You don't know my achievements, and you certainly don't respect my legacy." Jenna tried to apologize, but Reba cut her off. "Your intention was clear. You wanted to embarrass me. Well, congratulations, you've shown your true colors." The audience erupted in support, shouting, "We love you, Reba," as she stood unhooking her microphone. Jenna begged her to stay, but Reba's voice was calm, steady, and final. "Some things can't be fixed with a commercial break and a fake apology. I've built my career on respect, hard work, and dignity. I've never walked off a set before. But I've also never been treated with such blatant disrespect. Fresh voices don't earn their place by tearing down the women who built the foundation. They earn it through talent, dedication, and respect." She placed the microphone down, thanked the audience, and walked out with the kind of grace that only comes from decades of hard-won success. And as the sound of her heels echoed across the silent studio, She left one last message. My new album drops in 6 months. My tour starts in 8 weeks. Every single date is sold out. So much for being irrelevant. The door clicked shut. Jenna sat frozen, pale and shaken, while Marcus tried to salvage the moment with a commercial break. But everyone in that studio and everyone watching at home knew they'd just witnessed one of the most unforgettable walk-offs in television history. That's how Reba McEntire reminded the world why experience, wisdom, and self-respect will always outshine manufactured drama. So what do you think? Was Reba right to walk off, or should she have stayed? Drop your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this.